Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Green Industry Marketing Show, where we are all about growing your online presence so you can grow your business. And today we are going to be talking about something I get a lot of questions about, and that is how the heck do I get people to actually sign up for my email list? How do I grow my list of subscribers so I can send them marketing emails? So we're going to take a look at that today, and we're going to go through some of the best practices and ways that you can do it easily and in an automated way that doesn't take up a lot of time. So I'm Monica Hemingway. I'm a digital strategist. I specialize in working with the green industry only, and I do a lot of email marketing. So this is something that is near and dear to my heart. So again, we're looking at opt-in forms today. If you haven't yet signed up for the Green Industry Marketing Group here on Facebook, I encourage you to do that because there'll be a lot more information about this there. Okay, so with that, let's jump in. Email marketing. So in order to send emails to people, marketing emails, which are classified as commercial emails, you need to have their permission to do that. I know a lot of people don't do that. They just send you emails, and that is spam. And that is actually against the law here in the US, as well as in Europe and other countries like Canada as well. So you need to get their permission to send them emails. How do you do that? Well, you ask, right? You've got to ask them how to do that. And there are a lot of different ways you can go about asking, but one of the most common ways, and one I know that you have seen many times, is to put a sign-up form, a subscribe form on your website or your blog, and hope that people will actually give you their email address and maybe even their name or some other information if you're collecting that, and then you can send them emails. The problem is most of those opt-in forms are pretty pathetic and don't work. And I'm going to guess that many of you as well have had the situation where you've got this opt-in form, but no one actually signs up. Well, I'm going to share something with you before I get into exactly what you should be doing here. I am doing a webinar next week, an online workshop with my friend Katie Elzer-Peters, and we are going to be talking specifically about some of the ways that you can get people to sign up for your email list. Doesn't even have to be online. And as a special gift to people who register for the webinar for the workshop and watch the whole thing, we're going to give you, it's a small ebook on 20 ways to grow your email list. And this is not just a little bulleted list of ways. This is actually a description of 20 very different ways that I am willing to bet that some of these are going to be new ideas to you that you can actually implement. So with that, let's get back into it. So you're going to ask them. And when you ask them, you have to have a way for them to actually sign up. And you can do that multiple ways. You can have a form, for example, at the checkout at your store. You can ask them to put their name on a list, or if you are giving presentations, for example, pass out a sign-up form. You can get their business card from them. But the most efficient and most effective and just easiest way to do it is to have a sign-up form on your website. You want that website sign-up form to work, right? You want people to actually sign up for it. So how do you do that? That's what we're going to look at right now. So what are the elements of an opt-in form? That's what it's called, an opt-in form or a subscribe form or a subscribe box. I mean, different names. I'm going to be calling it an opt-in form. There are different elements to it. So one is the design. What does it look like? Then what does it say? Excuse me. Is it enticing? Is it something that people are actually going to say, yeah, I guess I should sign up for that. All right. Where it's located on your website. Where have you put it? Have you buried it somewhere, or is it easily seen? And fourth, what does it ask the subscriber to do? All right. 4 key elements. So we're going to take a look at all of those. First of all, design. It's got to look attractive. It's also got to be visible. So it's got to stand out on your website as something that people should pay attention to, that they're going to notice. You want it to look like it's in keeping with the rest of your website. So, a big red box is probably not the thing you want to do. So try and use your colors and your fonts and your style, your graphics, your images that you would use on your website normally so that it looks like it's part of it, but also set it apart. So maybe a slightly brighter color, maybe a box around it, maybe the background of it is a different color. With doing this, there's one thing to think about though. What is the primary purpose of the page on which you have embedded that form? So if the primary purpose is to get somebody to buy something or to call you or to fill out some sort of registration form or request an estimate form or something like that, then you don't want your sign up, your opt-in box to be more prominent than the main call to action on that page. Okay, so really think about that. What's going to drive your business? Now, if the purpose of this page, say this is a blog, and the primary purpose is to provide information to people that's going to be helpful or entertaining or answer their questions. In that case, the primary purpose may be to get them to sign up for your list so that you can continue to build that relationship with them. In that case, you do want your opt-in box to be as prominent as possible. Okay, so design, keep it consistent with your website, but make it stand out, not too much or very much, depending on the purpose of the page. Next thing is, what does this opt-in box say? What's on it? Okay. Well, you want to make it really obvious to people what it is that they're going to be getting. Why should they sign up? So many websites I go to, it just says, subscribe to our newsletter, and then it asks for your name and your phone number and your date of birth, a whole bunch of things. Why on earth would I want to subscribe to your newsletter? You've got to give me a reason for it. You've got to let me know what I can expect if I do this. People are very protective of their email address. We all get so much spam that we don't want to just give it away, right? So some things to say. One, what are they going to get? How often are they going to get this? Is it weekly? Is it monthly? Is it whenever the heck you feel like it? What is the content going to be? Are they going to be getting information about your business? Probably not a major attractor for people. Are they going to be getting helpful tips and hints about whatever it is that you provide? Are they going to be getting special offers, discount coupons, advance notice of sales or events they might want to attend? Are you going to be giving them quizzes and other opportunities, right? So let them know what they can expect and put yourself in their shoes. What would be appealing to them? Because ultimately your email marketing is really about your customers. So what do they want to see? Let them know that's what you're going to provide. Another thing, aside from what you say, is allaying their fears. So a lot of people are worried that what are you going to do with their email address? Are you going to spam them and just send them promotions? Are you going to sell it? Are you going to share this with somebody else? Are they suddenly going to get a whole bunch of emails from somebody else that they don't know about that you've given their emails to? So I'm assuming you don't do any of those things, all right? So good email practices, don't give it all away. Put your privacy policy on your website. Make sure it's at least in the footer and let people know on the sign-up box that you don't send spam, you don't share, you don't rent, you don't sell your email list, all right? Just that little statement, while they may never check out your privacy policy, just that little statement helps them to feel more comfortable that you really do have their best interests in mind and they can give you their email and it's going to be safe with you, okay? Another thing in terms of content, give them the option of opting in as opposed to having to affirmatively opt out of your email list. I'm sure you've all seen these forms. For example, you're buying something or you're registering for something and there's this tiny little box that's clicked and it says, subscribe to our newsletter, right? It's pre-clicked. And if you don't pay attention and you don't unclick it, you are subscribed to their newsletter whether you want it or not. Don't do that to people. It's just really annoying. And not only that, people who get those emails from you when they didn't affirmatively sign up for your list are going to be pissed off. They're going to unsubscribe, or they're never going to open it, so your open rates and engagement go down, or they will complain that it's spam. All of those things are going to hurt your ability to deliver emails to people. You don't want to be in that situation. So give them the option to opt in. And finally, the content, give them an incentive. Give them some reason beyond just what they're going to get in their newsletter. Give them an ethical bribe to give you their email address. That's also called a lead magnet, because it acts like a magnet to draw in leads and get them signed up. So what is that? What is a lead magnet? It can be something really simple. It can be just, hey, sign up now and you'll get 10% off on your next purchase. That's really easy. But it could also be get a free report on or a free soil test, for example, or a free report on the condition of your plants. Or here's this little checklist of what to do this season in the landscape, right? You're going to give them something of value that they're not going to get somewhere else. And it doesn't have to be huge, but it has to be valuable to them. So think through who your customers are and what would be of value to them, and offer it as a gift for signing up. Okay, so we've talked about design, we've talked about content. What does it say? The next thing is, where do you put this opt-in box on your website? And there are a ton of different places where you can put it, but the most common ones where you'll often see it are a pop-up that covers part of the screen. Maybe it's down at the bottom, maybe it's in the middle, maybe it's at the top, but it pops up when people are on your site and it says, you want to subscribe? Well, it doesn't exactly say that, right? It's got to have the right content, but it's very, very obvious and people have to click on it to get rid of it. It's very, very effective, but it's also annoying. So whether you do that or not is really up to you. I find they work, but what I do is I put them so that they show up in the bottom of the screen in a corner. They kind of slide in, or maybe they show up in a bar across the bottom, or maybe they pop up across the top. So you're not covering up the content that people came there to look at, because that's what really drives people nuts. If it's just coming in at the side or at the top, it's obvious. They can't miss it. But at the same time, they can still continue reading what they're looking at without having to get rid of it. I use them. I use them for most of our clients in different ways, those pop-ups, and they do work very, very well. You can also do it so that when somebody is about to leave the site, their mouse is moving off the page, it will pop up and say, hey, don't go yet. What about? And you give them some incentive to sign up. Okay. So that's one thing you can do with them. Commonly, they're also found in the sidebar of your website. So that is usually on the right-hand side of your website where you've got like extra information and stuff like that. There'll be a sign-up box there. If you write a lot of content, so for example, on a blog, a really good place to put an opt-in box is at the bottom of the blog post. And have it say, if you enjoyed this post or this article, please sign up to get more like this delivered straight to your inbox or something like that. Because if somebody has taken the time to read the entire article, they are invested, they are interested, and they're more likely to sign up. So that's a really good place to put one as well. Put a sign-up box on your About page or on your Contact page. Put one on your home page, particularly if you are offering a lead magnet that's of value, something that people want to get. Put it right there on your home page. And I'm going to show you some examples of this, so stay tuned for that. Put it in the footer of your website. You can do that as well. Now with these, you don't actually have to put the whole form right there. You can put a button that when you click on it, it opens up a pop-up box that people can then fill in the information. Or when you click the button, it takes them to a separate page where they can fill in. Now that type of opt-in we find is actually more effective than having the whole form right there on the page. The reason being, if somebody goes to the trouble of clicking that button once that says subscribe, well, Don't say subscribe. Join us now. Let me in. I want it. Whatever it is. When they click on that, they've already made a commitment. This is the first step. And so they are more likely to continue going because they've made that first step already. So if the second step then is, here's your email address, you're going to get more people sign up that way than if you put the form itself right there on the page. So just a little tip there. So for high conversions, you can put them in any of those places, and I'll show you those in a moment. Then, okay, what do you ask for on the sign up form? There is a tendency to want to know as much as you possibly can about your subscribers, and I totally get that. The more you know, the better you can cater to their needs, right? And you've heard this analogy a ton of times. I guess it's kind of tired at this point, but it's kind of like a first date, right? You don't try to go all the way or ask them to marry you on the very first date. You start with, hi, my name is Monica. How are you? It's the same thing with your opt-in forms. Only ask for what you really, really need in order to send them emails. And what is that? Yeah, it's their email address. That's all you need, right? So my recommendation is just ask for the email address. If you really want to, you can ask for their first name as well, just so that you can personalize emails, and say, hi, so-and-so. Just be aware that a lot of people are not going to actually give you their first name. So if you make it a required field, something that people have to fill in, you'll get a lot of just junk like test or sample or ABCD, right? Because they have to put something in there. So just take a look. If you're going to be asking for those, for people's name, take a look at your list after a while and see what people are putting in there. And if you're seeing a lot of junk, I would remove that field. Don't require it. And I certainly wouldn't personalize my emails by saying, hi, first name, for example, because you might be saying, hi, test, or hello, sample, or something like that. And that's really stupid. So take a look at that. Asking for other things if you really need it. So for example, I have a client who asked for zip code because she customizes the content of the newsletters based on where in the country people live. So she's not going to send the same stuff to somebody who lives in South Florida as somebody who lives in Wyoming, right? Very different in the gardening world. And you want your content to be relevant to your readers. So you could do something like that, but think about it carefully. You also have the opportunity to ask them for that information later. So you can send a follow-up email asking people, hey, tell me a little bit about you so I can send you the most relevant information. Do you like this or do you like that? Click on the right one, or click here to update your profile, and you can send people to that to update it. Not everybody's going to do that, right? So it's kind of hit or miss, but the people who do are going to be your more engaged subscribers, and those are the ones you really want to be able to tailor your content to. So there you have it. Those are the 4 big things to think about when you're talking about opt-in forms, right? So the design, what does it look like? Where does, how does it fit onto your page? Where do you put it? What do you say in it? And what do you ask for? What information do you ask for? So think through those 4 things. I'm going to put a link down below to a blog post that might be interesting to you. And don't forget that we have this webinar coming up on email marketing, where we're going to be giving you a ton of information that you can use to improve how you use emails to bring in business for your company. So I'll put a link to that as well, and I'm going to ask you to subscribe. So if you enjoyed this, please give it a like, leave a comment below. Let me know what questions you have about this, or what you might be doing with it, or what you'd like me to talk about next week. It's going to be another email related topic, since that's what I'm thinking about right now. So let me know what you think. I love to hear from you, and join me again next week, same time, same place. Bye for now.